This is Political Junkeez with Brian Howie.
Hi again, everyone. It's Brian Howie. Welcome back to Political Junkeez, the podcast for those hooked on politics. We're back from a little bit of a hiatus, and we're excited to be in these fancy new Political Junkeez digs. And for our Season 2 debut, I thought I'd bring in the head honcho behind this operation here. He's the king of the Podcast Junkeez world. He is the host of Action Junkeez and a whole bunch of other stuff. My old friend Jon Orlando. How are you?
I'm good. You made me sound so important just now.
I know.
That.
Well, you are. I mean, you're like, I'm going to guest on that. I was told you were guesting. A lot of people we asked to be on here. I was told you wanted to guest
right.
because I was told you had things to say.
Yes.
We're taping this in Las Vegas. Las Vegas seems quiet, but is it open?
I'd say it's open. It's getting better. I mean, we're at these numbers are ridiculous, though. So we're at 35% right now, and I think they're planning on going to 50% in a couple of weeks.
The difference is there's no business travelers here.
Right.
There's no conventions here.
No.
There's none of that stuff. So at a time of year now, we're in March, that stuff would be here.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily crazy summertime or even holiday time, but March does tend to get a lot of that business is not here. So it's tough to tell.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. If you go, I think you went last time you were in town. You've been down to Circa?
Yeah.
Circa, other than obviously they're wearing masks and everything, but other than that, you feel like you're back in Vegas, right?
I want to have my ashes scattered at Circa. That's the greatest place ever.
100%.
Ballsy by them to open it up I guess they planned this before it all went down, but they're like, we're opening. They haven't had their official, celebrity thing yet. They probably got to wait on that.
Right.
That place seems open.
And celebrities are going. Jeremy Piven was there last week. I saw Mike Tyson.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. And, I don't know if you realize there's no kids. It's going to sound like we're doing a commercial for Circa, but we're not.
Right, we're not.
We should be, though. We should be getting paid for this.
That's right.
Paid for a podcast would be an interesting, right? Yeah, no kids under 21. Did you notice that?
So
they're not allowed.
So
no one under
19-year-old girl?
No. So
I noticed the sign. I didn't know if 18 was the.
No, my cousin just turned 21 like a month ago. So I called my buddy Richard Wilk over at Circa, and I was like, hey, he's a YouTuber, my cousin, Jesse James West. He's got a huge YouTube fitness channel. And I said, hey, would you comp him? He'll do some videos, whatever. He's turning 21. He's going to be 21. And Richard just thought that I already knew about the policy and figured, it's like for his 21st birthday, but he's already 21. And so when Jesse went to check in, they turned him away. He couldn't stay. He couldn't even do the comped room. He had to wait until midnight to check in.
Which is, good, I think. Because a lot of the casinos have had adults-only pools or sections, but this is the first one to go all in on the adult stuff. There's a surprising amount of people dragging their children here during a pandemic.
It's crazy.
I know. They're like, Mom and Dad are going to Vegas. Let's go. As we record this, 2 hours ago, Texas decided we're out of the mask thing. We're out of the restrictions. We are full speed ahead. And every state that has sort of been first out in front. First, it was Atlanta to reopen a little bit. Florida's been open pretty much the whole time. Texas, North Dakota, whatever. None of them have regretted it. Where's Nevada on that? Because the casinos have been open to some degree since Memorial Day of last year. So we're coming up on almost 10 months of doing it. It's tough to tell how that shook out because people would come here and then they'd leave and maybe they'd get people home that's sick. But the way I would judge it is the dealers, the hotel staff seem to be fine statistically, just like anything
Everyone
else.
seems to be fine. Right?
Everyone seems to be fine. But if that was going to be a problem, the union would have spoke up and said, our people are getting sicker. And the ones who have been out front during all this, flight attendants, grocery store workers, their stats are the same as anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
Teachers are actually safer. They complain more. But But so the people that are, I think that's the judge of Vegas and how open it has been and it should be was the people that are working here right in the front lines of the drunk gamblers seem to have gotten through this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I flew last week. I had to go to Tucson for a day. And so I'm walking down the jetway on Southwest here in Vegas, and they've got, you've probably seen it because you're flying every week, every other day you're flying.
Right.
They've got these signs as you're walking down the jetway. Don't gamble with your future. Social distance. Wear your mask. And then 10 feet later, you're on a plane where they're occupying middle seats. It's crazy.
They say the filtration system is everything.
Okay.
That's what they say, and
Right.
they might be right. I flew out here today, and the person next to me, 3/4 of the way through the flight, she decided she was not masking anymore. And the flight attendants came up to her, and they gave her 5 chances to put the mask back on. She put it up as far as her mouth, and they're like, no, you have to cover your nose. If you don't, you're going to end up on the no-fly list. They didn't do it, and they took her off. Like, I don't know how she's getting back to Cleveland. But
now, do you admire her, or are you like, what an idiot?
Well, I would have admired her more if she took a stand before we took off. I don't want to get on a plane doing that. We were like prepare for landing, and she decides to pull a stunt and the flight attendant gave her every opportunity, like, just put it on. We don't want to have to put you on the no-fly list. She was not having it, and that's it. I don't know how no-fly list is no joke. I imagine.
I mean, that's literally the only thing that I think would make me get the vaccine. And I'm not like anti-vaccine.
I'm not either. If it makes my life easier to travel, or we have to get it, I'll get it too.
Right.
That
would be the only reason, though, right? I mean, I don't even get a flu. Do you get a flu shot?
No.
I've never had a flu shot.
I never have either.
Flu.
Problem is, you have any sort of discussion about this, you come off as like a wacky anti-vaxxer.
Right.
I'm not anti-vax. I always say I'll take the vax for the things that will kill me.
Right.
Statistically, this probably won't kill me.
Yeah. If I say 99.99, like I always do, everybody gets mad at me.
It's the same. I'm statistically more likely to die from the flu.
Yeah.
I am. But if there's some restriction, like I got to go overseas or something, and they're like, you got to get the vaccine. I have traveled overseas to Asia once, and you have to carry around your immunization card. You do have to get your shots.
Right.
And you do have to get your shots to go to the 3rd grade. You do have to get your shots to go to Africa. And so that's part of the deal. I don't mind it. Where are we at shots in Nevada?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Is it, are blackjack dealers considered like front lines?
I would think.
I would think too.
Right?
It's just about the union,
And that's so crazy. Like,
I think waitresses should be first.
Right. It's like you talk about blackjack. So they'll deal double deck, right?
Yeah.
You'll touch the cards, but you can't cut the deck. Does that make any sense?
So
or
what happens
even when they're dealing up?
So you're playing poker. You throw your cards in, and do they touch the cards you touched? What do they do?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then
so
they
or blackjack.
wash their hands?
If you play blackjack,
yeah,
out of the shoe, right? So they're dealing face up,
right?
So you're not touching the cards in that game,
right?
But you're certainly touching the chips, right?
Right.
So you're touching the chips. That's okay. Chips are going back and forth, flying all over the table.
They are.
But you can't take that yellow card to cut the deck. They won't let you cut the deck. Some hotels do, but most of them don't.
Yeah, that's
you
weird.
just point. They go high, middle, or low.
The whole thing. It has not been the whole thing. And I don't want to. We've spent a lot of time dealing with the COVID stuff on this show. The whole time, the rationalization has been nuts.
Right.
Somebody made a point the other day I was listening to that if we were going to open anything, we should have opened movie theaters but only showed dramas. Because if you showed comedy, laughter would be thing. But it's the only place that people could be separated and not speaking.
Right.
It could have been one of the safest environments ever. As long as people aren't shouting and speaking. It's actually, statistically, I'm in favor of having all the restaurants open. Safer than restaurants if you're sitting next to somebody in a movie theater because you're not talking to them.
That's actually hilarious.
Right, because it's a talking disease.
Right.
Whatever. So sitting in a quiet theater should have been fine.
Don't risk your life. Stay away from comedies. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And then you go to some places now, and comedy clubs are open. Strip clubs are open.
Strip clubs are open here. I just heard that like a week ago.
So what's the policy on the money?
Good question. I don't know.
You are not prepared for your own.
No, I know.
Here.
I don't know.
Do we have any strippers here? No?
We've got nothing.
You don't have any strippers just here?
No, Gio retired, so no more. He's off the pole. Yeah.
What kind of operation is this? You should have coffee.
Yeah, I don't know.
strippers.
I don't know what they do. Credit? They just
I don't
credit ahead of
know.
time?
Well, because they had the funny money system.
Right.
Like you put on your credit card. So I've heard.
I was going to say, don't sound so well versed.
And then they give you the Monopoly money.
Right.
And then you have to touch that and then touch.
Yeah, I
her.
don't think that.
Are they masked as part of the show? Do they have cute masks? You don't know any of this.
I heard now that there's no lap dances like on the floor. It's private room only, which is hilarious. So it goes on, but not in public view.
The whole thing has no logic
Right.
whatsoever. The whole time. Even when you said you get on the plane, Southwest Airlines, everybody have your masks on. Here's the pretzels. Everybody take your mask off and eat your pretzels.
Right.
You know,
Or
same
getting
thing.
dirty. I got such a dirty look the other day because I went from my table to the bathroom and didn't put the mask on. I just can't do it. Like I wait until someone
Walking
says
through a restaurant.
So you walk through with the mask on, you get your seat, then the mask comes off, you order your drinks and the food, whatever, and then if you have to go up and go to the bathroom, you're supposed to put the mask on. I don't do it.
So we're going to look back on this whole thing and think, what are every time there's a spike in flu or anything else, do you think masks are part of our new norm?
You know, I have been saying, I've always said no, and then I have a couple friends who are like, dude, wake up. The masks are here to stay, and I kind of think they might be, but I don't even like saying those words because it hurts my head so much.
I think we need to do it the way Asians do it. And they're like, if I feel lousy, I'm putting a mask on.
Okay.
So that's how you identify who doesn't feel great today. You put the mask on. The idea of us being perfectly healthy in masks again, I don't think that's good. I don't think we will do that. I don't think
hope
that's where
not.
we're going. And making 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds mask up
It's crazy.
They throw them on the floor. They pick them up. It is crazy. Switch topics a little bit.
Yeah.
Here. So I was going to say that we've talked a lot on this show about Trump derangement syndrome, and the first thing that the new Congress does when they come back into session was try and impeach Trump or have the trial on Trump. And so I get that the media is obsessed with Trump. I get that the left is obsessed with Trump because they wanted to still foil. The right is still obsessed with Trump. They just had him at CPAC. Mitch McConnell's still he's still our guy. He's not off like the way Barack Obama went kite surfing and disappeared.
Right.
He's front and center, and it seems like the Republicans are addicted to him too. That really surprised me.
There's still people that think it's still going to get reversed. I still have friends that think it's getting changed.
They think it's going to get changed and he's going to come back. I get that.
He's not coming back.
But there's people who realistically think that at 79 years old, and I don't know his health anyway, that he's the best candidate for the party. I don't know why the party's not like, we got through this, let's move on, let's go in a different direction.
Right.
I think it's because they're just playing to the fans.
Yeah.
He still has the fans. Both sides are still addicted.
Yeah, they're addicted. I thought that the arguing on Facebook would stop, and it's definitely better. It's definitely gotten better, but it's still there. It's still
People miss it. There hasn't been a thing to fill the void.
right.
You know, and the way everything gets covered is strange. So as we record this, the Democratic Party or the left or the media, that might be all the same thing. I'm not sure it's true. Has started throwing bodies overboard that have no use for anymore. The Lincoln Project out. We use them. They're gone. Governor Cuomo. They don't want to get him on the bad COVID stuff because then that somehow would make Trump. So they're like, we're not going to turn on him for the COVID. So let's fire up the old Me Too on him and throw them out.
It's so funny.
That seems like a compromise.
Yeah. Yeah. Your Facebook posts are always so spot on.
We're not going to get you. We're not going to send you to jail, Cuomo.
Right.
And we're not going to really dig up all the dirt on this. We're going to get you out on.
Right. We're definitely going to rip you down, though.
And I think that, and I'm no fan of his, but I think that that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's, there's such important stuff to deal with here. The fact that we'll just exit him off stage left without getting into any of the real serious stuff.
Yeah.
Because of this, that seems dishonest.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, all of it's crazy. I mean, they've got that, and then now Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head's no good. What is this? Dr. Seuss now today no good?
Dr. Seuss is no good.
Dr. Seuss is no good.
It started subtly a couple years ago when we realized, and it probably was, The Simpsons were a little racist. And you can make an argument that that's true.
Right.
Then poor Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben went overboard. They're out. And then it was the potato head, which most people thought was ridiculous. And now Dr. Seuss has a problem.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And there is a Mrs. Potato Head. Did everyone forget that? Did you know that?
No.
There is a Mrs. Potato Head, 100%.
There is?
Yes.
Is it like Mr. Met, and then there's a Mrs. Met?
That's a good
I don't
question.
know. But are there baby potato heads? Do they have a family?
Not that I
So if there's a
know of.
Mr. and a Mrs., they're thinking that leaves out a percentage of people.
Someone's hurt. Someone's hurt over Mr. Potato Head.
I don't know. Sometimes you should just be like, I'm not part of that.
Right.
Like if you don't affiliate with Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head, you should just be like, I don't affiliate with either potato heads.
I'm more of a mashed guy.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. We've lost our mind, and it's not coming back. That's the thing I worry about now. I really thought when Trump left,
everything goes back to normal, right?
Nothing's normal.
Right. Bad orange man gone. Now we can resume.
Kids are still in cages.
You're regularly
They're just
scheduled
called
programming.
dormitories now. The kids are in dormitories now. They're the same cages. They're calling them dorms.
Right.
Right. So there's this
At the
void.
border. At the border, you mean, right?
Yeah, at the border.
Yeah.
It's this phantom pain. Like people are like, I need this. Partly that could be because we're still sort of locked up and bored. So I think it's a little early to tell how it's going to be in 6 months. Now, speaking of in 6 months, I think in 6 months, people have this pent up energy. I think they have money. The people who have money to spend. A lot of people don't have money. I think it's going to roar back in a huge fun way, and maybe that's the optimist in me. Maybe I'm a little bit hopeful, and then Trump will fade into the
Roar
rearview
back
mirror.
meaning the economy or just everything? Social,
economy, fun. Activities, concerts, baseball games. I think people want to get out. They put tickets on for sale for spring training, limited tickets, gone in seconds. There's some concerts coming up, gone in seconds.
Yeah.
I think people are itching to get out there. They missed a year of vacations. They missed a year of spending money. They missed a year of dates. I think that the majority of the people are diving back in the pool, and then the people who don't want to, they weren't that fun to begin with.
Let me ask you this. I think Alabama also joined Texas in that same policy now with no masks? If there ends up being a spike in Texas, let's say, in cases, is it going to make national news, or is it not going to be that big of a deal? And does it?
Well, I mean, people freaked out about the Super Bowl, and the cases went down. You know, every instance that we've had, like, oh my God, look at the beaches, nothing happened. Look at this, nothing happened. Look at the spring breakers, nothing happened.
And why don't they ever
nothing happened.
report on that?
The only one that they decided to say, aha, this was the one, was the biker thing.
Right.
And they couldn't trace that to anything. They're just like, oh, these people spread it to 300,000 people, wherever.
And that's because the biker food group represents the person they hate, pretty much.
Right. So it was that. So everything, it's like, aha, they're all going to die. It just didn't happen. So Florida, the governor of Florida about 2 months ago was just like, we're never going back. Schools are open. We're going to fight through this. We can handle it. Our hospitals can handle it. And that's the most underrated, underreported story of all of it. The entire time, 12 months of this stuff, less than 24 hospitals in the whole country ever reached that beyond stressed point.
That's just crazy.
And those were badly run hospitals in the first place.
Right.
And that was more of an administration issue. They couldn't get by that. They didn't have it. 99, I want to get back to the 99.9. 99% of the hospitals were either emptier than they had been in any time in the last 5 years, partially because they didn't let people come in, but they were fully capable of handling it. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing started, or we spent the whole year like, we don't want to overwhelm the hospital. We didn't come close to overwhelming the hospital systems. You kept hearing these sporadic reports like, oh my God, they're in Houston. And by the time we found out about it, it went down.
Right.
Oh my God, Los Angeles went down.
Right.
New York early, couple in Boston, one in New Jersey, and like one in Louisiana. That's pretty much it. The rest of the country, a lot of people got sick.
Right.
They handled it.
Florida should be headline news every day, being touted as the people that handled it the best at the end of the day.
People
right?
still
it's nothing but old people out there.
Want to believe that California and New York did the right thing, and that Georgia and Florida and Texas did the wrong thing. And no matter how much you try and counter that with like, actually, that's not true. Can we admit that's not true now? Well, then Florida's lying about their statistics. Right. Well, it turns out New York's lied about their statistics. Like, there's facts on that now.
Right.
But there's no logic with some people. I don't understand the people who want it to be worse. I don't understand the people who want it to not be over, who thinks it's bad news. Good news is bad news. This is a really bad, and I never really quite get a grasp on, is it a handful of people that are driving that narrative and it permeates everywhere, or is it like 40% of the people?
I think it's 40%. I think it might even be 50.
And what I
don't know.
What do they want?
Doom and gloom is what they want. I don't know.
How long? Because I'm like, at what point will you say, because do they want zero COVID?
Right.
They keep looking to New Zealand, like, aha, New Zealand. Well, New Zealand's nuts. They shut it down for one case. They're shutting the country down. And they are furious over there, but we don't report that over here. Over here, the media is like, New Zealand's a model for the cases. They don't report the protests going on in New Zealand, which they are. We keep hearing still, the United States did the worst of all the countries. No, we didn't. We did about average. We're sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
We have a shitty healthcare system. That's a much bigger picture. It's mostly local. It's mostly private. If people don't like that, blame Alexander Hamilton. He that's his thing. Okay, but we sort of are average. We're pretty far ahead on the countries on the vaccines. We're pretty on the hospitals. Our death rate was high in some places. It's a big country. It's all over the place. But there's people who any amount of good news you give them, they immediately pivot. You're talking about Trump,
right?
100%. Which doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. It's just, it fits the narrative that they want to see. We see what we want to see sometimes on both sides. But
now in a city like this, though, Vegas desperately needs to be open.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, so many people are still, all those entertainers. Like, do you understand how many entertainers live in this town, from cirque shows to magic shows?
So what happened? That's what I was going to bring. What happened to those? I guess it depends on the entertainer, but like, what happens to Carrot Top? Is he getting paid?
I think Carrot Top might be doing shows.
But everybody was shut down.
None of them get paid.
Like circus.
My dad doesn't get paid.
He doesn't.
Think about him. He's a great example. So he's going to be 77 on April 3rd. What?
Can we fact check on that?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
did I get that right? Yeah, 77? Yeah. No work for over a year. What is he supposed to, like?
Did he have canceled gigs, or they weren't scheduled?
They keep getting canceled. He was back on for the South Point this coming April.
Yep.
He's there every April over his birthday for 3 or 4 days. It just got postponed again. It's been moved 4 times.
And they're postponing it because the people aren't ready to go to a show? Because there's some shows open now. How many people are at Absinthe on it? Are they going?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Because I'm doing some live shows.
Are you?
Are tickets
the
half
same
capacity?
The same money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 50% capacity, and the asses are coming out. Now, they've been in Florida.
Right.
And Florida has been open a lot. They don't. The only place you wear a mask really in Florida is the grocery store.
Have you been to any movies lately?
I have
in
not.
a theater?
I haven't.
I went to a
that
movie.
wigs me out.
Really? Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing.
You waffle. You go back and forth.
I've been in a bowling alley.
Bowling alley's okay, so you'll grab that bowling ball.
Put your hand in the ball. And
right,
put
you'll do that.
Dirty shoes on. I feel like they're cleaning them. I don't know. Yes, something about I know. I just haven't gone to a movie. I don't know what's out. I probably haven't thought about it, but the idea of the movie theater, for some reason, that's my frontier.
Come on.
I know.
Do you realize, other than like a Friday or Saturday night, movie theaters were empty pre-COVID?
I get
right?
it. Yeah.
There's no one in there. It looks like you rented the place out to yourself. And now, I went with Gio a week ago. Snacks are half off.
Are they?
Now's the time to go to the movies.
And how many people were in there?
It was pretty good. There was 15, 20 people maybe.
Out of
on
hundreds? See,
maybe
how are they staying? Like, why
seats.
would they even open for that?
Some are still closed.
I wouldn't open. I mean, I don't know. See, certain things, I don't know about why the movie. It seems like it's dark with no windows. I don't know. That's a good point.
You're freaked out at the movies.
I'll go to any mall.
You'll fly because you go. But didn't you used to get sick every time you fly pre-COVID? I remember getting sick every time I fly.
Like anxious. I'm scared to fly. That doesn't help.
You are?
Yeah. I fly all the time. Because it's high up. It's really high up. It doesn't bother me. I don't think anything of it, but back to this town. So this town, are there people here that are like, wait, slow down, don't open?
For sure.
And what industry are they in?
everything across the board. They're all walks of life,
and they have a better unemployment package than other people. What do they
exactly.
want? I mean,
then there's that, right? It's like, what's your motive behind saying what you're saying? Yeah, I've really tried to take a break from the Facebook arguing because I can go to. I've seen I do it on your page all the time, or I used to.
Come to my place.
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I don't want to argue anymore. I want my money back because I was told after the election everything's going back to normal,
right?
And it's not happening. So I'd like a refund on
every hotel's still not open, or they're still not open every day.
I think
like Planet Hollywood's weekends only,
right.
And a couple of like, is the MGM open?
I think they're open. Yeah, they're
Palms
open every day.
Open?
No, Palms is not open. No.
Is the Rio open?
I don't know if the Palms are ever going to open again, and I'm not sure about the Rio.
What's the big one? The big one that looks like the Wynn, but
Resorts,
it's not?
Resort
It
World,
looks
or
just
something.
like the Wynn.
I don't
but
think
it's
they've opened yet.
Right, but are they still?
I think so, and I think where the Hard Rock was, Virgin opens. I want to say March 23rd or somewhere around there. That's gonna be nice. I don't know. Have you driven by there?
Old Hard Rock?
Yeah,
well, they're behind. They're like a year behind.
Yeah.
But that's why
March
I'm like,
23rd,
this place seems to have been done okay. That you figure that people would just be like, open up. They're still charging $20 for a room at some of these places.
Yeah.
And so you're not getting exactly high rolling clientele anyway. I
Right.
get you want to employ the staff, but at what point does Vegas go first and say, we're open for business?
Yeah. It's tough because I think the people that own the casinos would do that, but the Gaming Control Board has ultimate final say on policy. So that's what
and they're not
is
incentivized.
You would think they would be.
Those guys get paid either way.
Right.
I don't know. Like, at what point do you think that the plastic between is up for good? You think that's a permanent thing?
I hope not, because I play a lot of poker and it's
Is
brutal.
it hard?
It's not. It's so hard. First of all, any of the gambling table games is social, right? Yeah. So it's got that element of fun, craps, roulette, whatever it is. Blackjack. I sort of like blackjack because now it's 3 to a table, which I like.
Yeah.
And so I'm not so mad about blackjack. But like poker is brutal. You've got the mask on. You've got the plexiglass. The people are placing bets, and it's like 41, and you're like 41. It's like you can't even understand. And it ultimately ends in the dealer pulling the mask down to tell you what the bet is.
Oh no!
Literally every 5 minutes. It's crazy.
I thought that the NFL got through an entire season, thousands of players, full contact. Not one player ended up seriously ill from it. Did not end up in a hospital. Nobody. Right. No coach or anything. And I thought, it's like, you know what? Football, press forward. They got through it. Props to them. Let's push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
And certain places are, but certain places are because, like, the states just run out of money.
Right.
So it's like, oh, we'll count the bodies in New York or whatever. Like, at some point, just like Texas did, I think Vegas, they're going to have a fight with fans. They're going to have
Yeah, and you say fight. Dana White, UFC, they've marched on. They were the first sport back, and you got guys sweating all over each other, rolling around on the floor.
They test them.
They're in the bubble, and they get tested a bunch of times,
Right.
and they've got the bubble down. But still, even the ones when a fight does get canceled because someone in the team gets COVID or whatever, they're not really sick. I mean, some of them, yes.
Yeah.
But, it's not the same thing with football. It's not like
they get a little sick.
They get a little sick. It's not the end of the world.
Every concert that I've seen that has been scheduled, like you said, your dad, they're getting pushed back. Is there one that what's the electric Daisy
EDC,
thing?
Electric Daisy?
Is that happening?
No, I think it got
Like
canceled.
Coachella's
gone. Stagecoach is gone.
What is the big concert or is there a big concert that's like May 1?
Not that I know of.
Smash Mouth is playing. No,
Yeah,
is
not
there
that I
anything
know
like
of.
that?
I think Kalika's got something going on in Nashville, I want to say.
That's Nashville, but Vegas.
Right. In Vegas, I don't think
the residencies. Is anybody? I don't know who's here. Sting? Is any of them?
No, there's none of those yet.
At what point, see, the thing, though, about the casinos, they're all owned by various gambling entities, and gambling stocks are through the roof. Mm-hmm. And gambling is the way that these states are going to get their money back. You're going to see sports betting in 45 states soon.
It's crazy. Every week they're adding states.
Because that's the way that these states are going to bail themselves out of this financial mess.
Yeah.
Is more gambling.
Yeah.
that affects Vegas, in that Vegas should still want to be the king on the
right.
I had no idea how many casinos were in Arizona. There's like 30 casinos in Arizona. There's a bunch outside of Palm Springs.
Yeah,
there's casinos all over. There's gambling. So Vegas needs to be like, we're open, we're fun. Come back for all the Vegas stuff.
We have to do it better. Right?
We have to do better. We have to do it first, and we have to push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they did open, and we've been through 10 months now in Las Vegas of it being open to some degree with no repercussions at all.
Right.
As far as I know.
Right.
At some point, like, are the pools opening? The
pools are
pools?
open, but the day clubs are not open. They're open, but not like day clubs like before. There's
when
no big
are they
DJs.
normally open though? April, or they're open? They're open
March,
now?
early March. They usually
are.
open. Yeah. So last year, Vanessa worked at Wet Republic, and then 3 days later, like the first weekend of March, like March 6, 7, 8, was a weekend I think last year, and then 3 days later it closed.
Are they going through the hiring and
they went through all that already?
They're doing that for this year.
Yep.
And what are they telling them? Just sit tight.
I think they have dates to open, but they're not opening like the day club anymore. It's just
so
like a
if
lounge.
you're a DJ now,
yeah,
are you just like, I'm not going to get any Vegas work for a while?
Not those big names, not the Calvin Harrises of the world. I don't know when they're coming back.
The Calvin Harrises of the world, they
don't need to work.
Yeah, they don't need to work. It's a real.
But you also never know, because you never know what guys are spending, and they're thinking
you might have to work.
It's just like athletes, right?
Athletes,
they're broke 2 years after they retire.
there's sort of three types of people. People who are like, I don't want to open because I have plenty of money. Mm-hmm. There's people who are like, I want to open because I have plenty of money and I want to do it. There's people who want to stay closed because whatever the benefits they're getting are out of closed. And then there's people who are like, if we don't open, I'm going to starve.
Right.
I'm surprised that pool isn't. I mean, I'm glad it's not bigger. If we don't open, I'm going to starve. But there doesn't seem to be enough people just freaking out loudly, or maybe we just don't hear about them.
Well, I think they're afraid to freak out, right? Because those in the entertainment community, it leans super liberal.
I mean, I know comedians really are. The fact that in New York City, Saturday Night Live can have an audience, Jimmy Fallon can have an audience, and then a comedy club can have an audience doesn't make any sense to the comedy club people.
Right.
Because the comedians, you're sort of, grinding it out, $100, $200 a night comedian.
Right.
It's not like they could go drive Uber because nobody was taking Ubers either. Like, and it's not like they qualified a lot on the benefits side because they had sort of they're freelancers and they didn't have the documentation. Those people are freaking out.
Yeah.
Actors and actresses, not the rich ones, but the Broadway actors and actresses, who knows when tours are going to come back. If you're the violin player in the Phantom of the Opera Roadshow, like,
what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do if you've done that for 20 years? That tour's not come back for a long time.
Right.
Because, theater, the old Broadway theaters and the local version of those, worst ventilation. Their business model does not allow spacing. They have to sell 85% of their seats or they lose money. Right? When is that coming back?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at some point, even here, I mean, they're doing half capacity on most of the shows that are open here, but the big shows aren't open.
No.
Like at some point, metaphor aside, Vegas has to roll the dice.
Yeah.
And
then I know I sound like a broken record, but like, how much of a dice roll is it if 99% of the people recover? It's not even a dice roll. It is what it is.
And the people who, if they said, listen, we believe everybody who's in serious danger at least has the opportunity to be vaccinated by April 15th, and April 15th, it is full on, would somebody say that's wrong?
Definitely somebody would. Definitely.
And who is that person?
All those people I argue with on your Facebook page.
But they don't
every single one of them.
But the powers that be don't listen to those people. Do
True.
they?
I don't know. I mean,
is it the state, the gaming commission, the mayor? I mean, there's no mayor. The Vegas doesn't have the mayor. The Strip is not Goodman. Or who's the mayor of Vegas? Vegas.
It's Goodman's wife now,
but
right?
The Strip is not under her jurisdiction. The city of Vegas is downtown.
Right.
The Strip doesn't count. Who is it? Is it MGM parent company to like, we can't open full bore because then we'll get sued and we're not insured for this?
I think they can't open full bore. It all comes down to the gaming commission, the gaming control board. They have final ruling. So,
but are they the ones setting the?
Yeah.
They're setting the how many people on the floor? That's the control board, or that's the
good question.
Or Clark County?
That's a good question.
Because at some point, if they do the math, here are the vaccines we've gotten. Here's what we most likely will have by this date. And everybody who's in serious danger has a shot. And then everybody else, you're sort of on your own. If you want to come, turn the lights on the way Texas just did.
Right.
I think Vegas has to be close in behind them, or they're just going to lose the.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you do damage that you just can't fix, right?
Yeah, and at some point you can't hear that. Yeah, Vegas is not really open, and then you miss another summer,
right?
Or you miss another spring, or you miss all this kind of stuff. Like at some point, somebody's going to have to go for it around here. That's Vegas,
right? Do you think that'll happen?
Yes, I think it was really big. It was more a PR than anything because there really is, there was a lot of states don't have mask mandates. They're just recommendations, and then they leave it up to the city or the businesses.
Right.
The local business sort of makes their thing. But the fact that they said anything, any entity, he said in Texas, football stadium, private business, you can be open with no restrictions whatsoever. 2 weeks from now, if everybody's not dropping dead, I think the lights go on everywhere.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
California too?
I don't count California.
California.
As soon as that happened, Newsom, who's probably going to get recalled, puts a thing out that goes, "This is reckless behavior." At some point, people are going to be like, "Shut the fuck up,
right,
Newsom. You're wrong."
Yeah.
And people can laugh at Texas all they want, and they, you barely got your lights on from 2 weeks ago. But the fact that he said the statistics back us up, just like DeSantis said. You are harming your children. We've sent our kids back to school for a year now, and the kids are fine, and the teachers are fine, and the administrators fine. And you don't hear about that on CNN because that doesn't fit the narrative.
Right.
But certain people are going to be like, hey, they're open. Even now, people are like, Florida's open and Florida's fine. Texas is be like, you turn on your TV and you see people are going to want that. And Vegas has to be out front in terms of
right.
entertainment and fun and getting your Vegas on.
Is there a point ever where we look back, whether that's 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 years from now, and collectively everyone agrees, wow, we did that all wrong?
I think we are. I think that what we were going off, I think we'll think, shit, the models were wrong, and we did things based on the models. I think they will admit that there were really no studies on the masks, that we took a shot. And there'll be a lot of revisionist stuff, like we screwed that up, we didn't handle it right. But again, that depends on what people want to hear. People want to believe that, 500,000 people died because Donald Trump's an idiot.
Right.
We believe that if you want. I'm not sure how we learn from that, though. I'm not sure if, something happens again, but, we move on to the next thing. I don't know, but I'm surprised at this point how many people still want it closed.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be jealous of Florida in any capacity in your lifetime?
No, I never thought that I would think they were the sane ones,
right?
Or that it was better.
You watch Cops, right? It's always Broward County, Dade County, shirtless people.
I've been to Florida a bunch the whole time since this started. Other than Miami, and Miami's still locked down. They're different. Miami's been pretty locked down, but the rest of Florida, you didn't even think about it unless you're in the grocery store. Like you didn't think about it, and putting the mask on in the grocery store, fine. You go into Publix or whatever the grocery, Harris Teeter, and you walk out and you never think about it again. And it's been pretty normal. And then you go to a place like Los Angeles that not only didn't really recover well from the COVID shutdown, it didn't bounce back from the riots and the protests.
Right.
That hurt a lot of these cities as much as anything. A place like Cleveland, downtown Cleveland, boarded up during that time, and they're like, we're not going to take the boards down until after the election.
Yeah.
That's about 8 months that a city's shut down. There's a few, downtown Dallas is like that too. Downtown Dallas shut down for the riots and never fully opened, and those places went out. So the empty storefronts are really alarming in a lot of cities. Retail is bad in a lot of cities.
I was in Orange County last week for a day for a meeting, and I was at that mall, the Spectrum Mall, is that what's called? Orange County?
Irvine?
Yeah, in Irvine, yeah. I could not believe everyone, when I say everyone, 9 out of 10 people outdoors, walking around the outdoor mall wearing masks, everyone looking at me like I'm out of my mind.
Because they probably had security going around. That's a California thing.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, put your mask
outdoors.
on. I know. And
No one said anything to me.
And that's even Orange County.
That's Orange County, right?
I know. I don't know. Like certain places were normal and but I think we'll look back on and we'll say like they didn't do it right or they didn't do it. It didn't make any difference. Virus gonna virus.
Do you know anyone personally that died from COVID? Not a friend of a friend, like anyone legit in your world. No?
No. But I know people have died of the flu.
Yeah.
Young people.
Really?
Yeah, a couple. Not a lot, but I'm like, they caught the flu and got pneumonia and died. I do know a few of those, but I don't know anybody personally.
My friend Dolores, she used to work at Dodger Stadium ever since I can remember. I was a little kid. She died of COVID about a month ago.
Was she like 80?
She was in her 70s.
Yeah.
And I was super sad. This was a really sweet woman. Like she took great care of me, over the years. And I thought to myself, I wonder, because I always wonder, like, if I, because a lot of people, when they yell at me on your Facebook page, oh, you've never had a relative die from it or whatever, lost a loved one, whatever. And I get it, she's not a relative, but like, I cried when I heard that she lost her life, but it doesn't change the way I feel.
I know. I think anecdotally, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I know people that have died from different things.
Right.
I know somebody died in an avalanche. I'm not like, oh, we can't go out where it snows anymore.
Right.
I probably am a little more cold-hearted than a lot, but the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
And
you know someone that died in an avalanche?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Skiing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What an awful thing.
I know. It's just unfortunate.
How many people a year die from avalanche? Do you know?
More than COVID? No.
No,
I don't.
I
don't
saw
know.
a crazy set. Do you
but
know how many people?
I started to look like 600,000 people still die of heart disease every year, and we're not shutting down McDonald's.
Right, of course. Do you? Oh yeah, I love that. I could play that game all day.
You play all the game, the driving, and you're.
Yeah. How about this one? Do you know how many people die every year from coconuts falling out of a tree and hitting people in the head?
Is it more than 2?
Yes.
Is it more than 8?
Yes.
How many is it?
It's 150 people. You can
worldwide?
Google it. I swear, worldwide, yeah. I mean, where else is there coconut trees?
How
but yeah.
high does the...
I have no clue. I don't know all the specifics, but 150 people die every year from coconuts falling out of the fucking tree.
That? I need to know how high how much does a coconut weigh?
I don't know, but it's coming from high up.
I need the math.
Yeah, I don't know the math, but it hurts. That's what I know.
That would suck.
It's bad.
I heard a story one time.
So next time you pop open a coconut water.
Boy George was DJing somewhere, and a giant disco ball crashed to the floor and just missed him. And he went into a depression because he thought, if I had to pick my way to die, it would be like getting hit by a giant disco ball. He's like, that would have been the most glorious thing for my career. And it's like, just missed me.
That's how you'd want to go.
He's like, that would have been like...
Right.
Of course, Boy George died from it getting him. I need to look into the coconut thing.
Yes.
Because I did early in the year when COVID wasn't so bad in California and people were like freaking out. I'm like, more people died of X, Y, and Z today. And there were some weird ones on there.
Yeah.
Like snake bites and all kinds of weird stuff. All right, was this so bad to come on and have a conversation about
it wasn't
this stuff
bad.
out
Well,
loud?
it's good because it was, post-election. I didn't want to get, I'm afraid to come on here because I don't want to get in trouble. I get enough trouble just with my regular posting.
This was just a conversation.
I didn't need to
have this conversation.
I'm still going to get heat for the mask and the COVID stance, but
I have my mask on right here, or I have my mask nearby.
Dude, I have a better. How do you like that? I
love it.
Yeah,
but the hardcore mask people know it doesn't do it. Yes, but the hardcore mask people
and you can't fly with that.
Yeah, you can.
No,
you can.
They accept that? No.
Yeah.
Really?
So one airport I was going through, they made everybody put 2 masks on to go through security, but the security personnel were not wearing 2 masks. It was the strangest thing. Yeah, you can wear this, whatever. But all the mask people are like, that doesn't do anything. I'm like, they all probably don't do anything, but I'll do what I have to do.
Right.
I'll follow the rules. Yeah. I'll put my seatbelt on. I'll do whatever.
All right. Very good.
All right. As far as the rest of you folks, like, share, subscribe, and please, as always, review this podcast. Reviews mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Thanks, Jono, and we will see you next time on Political Junkeez. Bye.
I like it.